Happy belated Valentine's Day, you beautiful people. It's Aaron here, and welcome back to another video. Since it is still basically Valentine's Day, I thought why not give some love to my favorite female character in the game, Xinyan, by giving her buffs because God knows she needs them. As you may know, Xinyan is, well, she's really bad and has a massive amount of issues in her kit that contribute to that. She's also a 4-star main DPS character, which means she is competing with the likes of Ayaka and Hu Tao on your team, but with worse damage in general just because of her base stats. And she is a physical damage dealer, which is terrible because they only benefit off of Superconduct to increase their damage. Even though Eula is the best physical DPS in the game and can one-hit bosses, she is still considered alright because she is physical. Xinyan also is Pyro, so she cannot apply Superconduct herself, unlike every other physical main DPS in the game. On top of that, there are even more issues she has, which I will get more into in a bit. But before I get into everything else, I would like to hear what buffs you guys think Xinyan could use in the comments down below. And if you do end up enjoying this video or liking my proposals, then please hit that like button down below and maybe subscribe too, as it helps me out a ton and I would appreciate it heavily. But now, back to the video. So, as stated before, there are many issues holding Xinyan back. She's a main DPS who lacks DPS compared to her competition, and she utilizes the weakest damage type in the game. She can also not utilize her own element to help herself out. On top of that, her inherent kit has more issues. Her damage scales with her attack, but her shield that she casts scales with her defense instead, granting her split scaling. On top of that, the base amount is nothing, and unless you hit multiple enemies with it to increase the damage absorption, the shield is practically paper thin to the point where you need to build full defense in order for it to be usable. The issue with that is then she will just be a shield bot with no damage. However, if you build her with full attack instead, her elemental skill is useless as it will break in one hit, with the randomness factor and artifact farming making it almost impossible to get the artifacts you actually need, and with the lack of artifact diversity she has, especially when you need all your substats to be specific, Xinyan is possibly the hardest character in the game to build. This would be okay if she has an absurdly high power cap, but this is in fact the opposite case. She has nothing to her name. One of her ascensions buffs the shield to allow it to grant 15% physical damage to characters protected by it. But since the shield is always breaking, this buff is almost never active. Her skill is also still bugged, and has been for over a year now, making her shield even worse as sometimes it just decides not to scale up in shield strength, completely breaking her ability to be a character. It seems like they wanted retracing Bolide to be great for her, but a lot of her damage comes from her burst too, so using this set means you're missing out on burst damage. Her best set right now is 2-piece Pale Flame and 2-piece Bloodstained because of the physical damage bonus they both grant as they increase her damage all around. The weapons she has available are White Blind, and she is the only character in the game who can use every 5-star Claymore effectively, all of which are really hard and expensive to get. Her team builds are absurd too because they need a Cryo and Electro off-field applicator for Superconduct, as she is not able to apply it herself. This means she has only one flex slot in her team comps, similarly to Hu Tao, but Hu Tao is able to deal the same damage as Xinyan's burst, but in a single charged attack. Xinyan's constellations do help her out a lot, as her C1 increases her DPS, her C2 allows her to not rely on crit rate as much and increases shield uptime, her C4 grants her skill the ability to proc a mini Superconduct, and her C6 doesn't fix, but does alleviate her split scaling issues. I could go on and on about all the issues with Xinyan, and make an entire video out of specifically that, but instead I want to show her some love, so let's start with addressing and attempting to fix all of her issues. Also, with these changes, I don't think all of them should be implemented because I didn't take too much balance into account. I tried, but these changes might just give her an extra star. Or 2. I am also not a game designer, so this is really just for fun and because I think Xinyan really deserves it. My goals were to lower her margin for error and lower her investment ceiling while also raising her power cap. I also wanted to avoid buffing as many other characters as possible, especially if they were already performing at a high enough level. Anyways, let's start with her kit. Her normal and charge attacks I think are fine, but I believe they could be changed up a little to just feel better. Her burst is also sick as hell, and I refuse to change that. Her kit's main issues are her split scaling and her shield being terrible as it relies on multiple enemies being around, making it even worse for boss fights, and it just being bugged. So the first change is a bug fix, obviously. There's no reason as to why this hasn't been done already, as Moyo has hastily fixed bugs in the past, but not this one. I guess Kokomi walking on water definitely was really breaking the meta, huh? But it does not fix the other issues of this ability, as it is useless for bosses and has split scaling issues. I do like the fact that it increases in damage absorption the more enemies are hit hit with the initial swing, and I don't want to take out that unique core design feature of hers, but I will add to it instead. Why not have it increase its level by itself over time? For instance, after about 2 or 3 seconds of it being the level it is, the shield will automatically increase its level by 1. This will repeat until the shield is max level, and perhaps this cooldown is lowered the more the current party member normal or charged attacks, allowing the shield to become a higher level even quicker. It also means the shield can become level 3 during a boss fight, but still incentivizes the player to actively hit multiple enemies for a stronger shield to start with. This change means that you won't be screwed over if you don't get the max level on the first hit, and have to wait 18 seconds to try again. It also technically means the bug fix doesn't need to really happen, as the bug doesn't completely screw over Xinyan as a character. Another change to Xinyan's shield I could see is that it scales off of attack instead of defense, allowing Xinyan to not require an absurd amount of investment to make her usable. Simple change really, and it works vice versa. Maybe when her shield is active, she gains a bonus to her normal and charged attack damage based on her current defense. One last change to her shield that could just be cool is to put the pulsing effect on her 2nd level shield, and then add a better one for pyro application on her 3rd level. Xiangling is the only pyro character we have that has constant off-field pyro application in an area around her. Granting it to Xinyan's shield as well, but faster, more constant, and a bigger area, but less damage, could grant her a spot as a shielding tenacity user and pyro applicator, a spot which is completely vacant at the moment. The other main issue she has is that she has no artifact sets made for her. Like stated before, Bolide does seem great on her, but it lowers her own damage when compared to that of the double 2-piece Pale Flame and Bloodstained, despite allowing her shield to have more uptime. This is because, even though with her shield up, her normal and charge attacks will deal more damage, her bursts will deal significantly less damage, as it only gains the physical damage boost from her Ascension 4 passive. Xinyan also still suffers from the split scaling issue, which Bolide tries to help with in the 2-piece, but fails to do so as it is not enough to help keep her shield up. This set instead became the best in slot set for Noelle, Xinyan's main competitor. For Xinyan's artifact set, I had to keep this in mind as Noelle just got super buffed with the new Husk set, and I didn't want to buff her even more. When thinking about the effects for this set, I also did not want to buff Zhongli at all because he has his own set and didn't need another buff since he is still crazy broken. Then came to mind a character like Thoma, who also heavily needed a buff, so in buffing Xinyan and granting her something to help her out, I had to make sure I didn't buff Noelle or Zhongli, and I tried to buff Thoma at the same time. I added Thoma because he is underpowered right now, and because I didn't want to make this artifact set way too specific, so Xinyan would be the only character to be able to use it. Any other characters I didn't really keep in mind, but this idea I believe is also a mega buff for Diona. I first noticed a similarity between Xinyan and Thoma in their element, but also in their shield mechanics. These two characters are 2 of the 3 characters with shields that have levels, so I thought to take advantage of that aspect while allowing this set to be run by a main DPS Xinyan, a support Xinyan, and a Thoma. Just think of this as Bolide 2.0. The 2-piece effect increases shield strength by 35%, just like Bolide. This 2-piece is useless on its own because only the active character's shield strength affects the current active shield, but that's where the 4-piece comes in. The 4-piece effect is as follows. When a shield created by the user is destroyed, the shield is instead redeployed, and all party members are granted 35% shield strength. The current active character is also granted a physical damage bonus increase of 50% of the user's current shield strength, and an elemental damage bonus of 15% of the user's current shield strength. This effect lasts 15 seconds, and can only occur once every 18 seconds. This effect cannot stack. This effect can still be triggered even when the character who is using this artifact set is not on the field. The goals of this set is to not only reduce Xinyan's split scaling issue, but also try and match the power increase that 2-piece Bloodstained and 2-piece Pale Flame grants her. I also wanted to capitalize on her and Thoma's weaker shields, allowing them to start off weak, but then become stronger and grant buffs to the active character as well. Characters like Diona, Xinyan, Thoma, Beidou, Yunjin, C4 Kaya, and C4 main DPS Yanfei could heavily benefit off of this set. Zhongli would be able to run this set, but only as a physical DPS, which I am perfectly fine with buffing. Wacky meta shifts are the best meta shifts. Is this the best in slot for all those characters? Hell no. Is this artifact set even good? With the prerequisite of you needing a shield that has already broken? Probably not. But I was thinking about it, and I have no clue how to only buff Xinyan without buffing a separate broken character. Maybe instead, if it breaks, it deals AoE daily physical damage and refreshes for the rest of the original duration, but with 1 HP, and it can keep going until the original duration runs out. Would it be broken for Beto's counter and burst at C1? I don't know, but it would be funny. I honestly cannot think of anything else for her without overbuffing someone or something else, and I think that is a problem that she has. Even with this set, Diona benefits the most, with Eula allowing her to be able to nuke everything and everyone at C0. Buffing Xinyan indirectly means overbuffing other characters in the game, and with the overbuffing they did to Zhongli and Ganyu after the release, I think miHoYo is not looking to do that again anytime soon. At the end of the day, I really do hope they end up buffing my girl. She really deserves to be playable. That's all I have for today. Do you agree with these changes? Do you have others in mind? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. I want to hear some creative stuff, people. Anyways, I do hope to see you all in my next video. Bye bye.